I just recorded my most raw, uncut video for YouTube, and I'm so excited to upload it to you. And then I realized my microphone was on mute, so I got to start over. Here we go. My name is Matt, July 25th. Welcome to Team Bitcoin. I'm going to convince you to like and subscribe. I'm going to tell you one simple thing. Today, I made enough money to pay cash for a car. Seriously, my daughter needs a new car. I made enough in cash. I will demonstrate to you how I'm able to achieve that if you like and subscribe. Now, who am I? My name is Matt. I served in the United States Air Force for 20 plus years. Enlisted of all things. And I work with some of the brightest minds I would consider on planet Earth. PhD level guys all the way down to Airman Basics. And I would say, I want to reach out to my military members first and give you a hug. I want to take care of you. I don't want to just thank you. I want to thank you. And so I'm trying to come up with creative ways. For instance, I have a home right now that I'm setting up with an Airbnb in the Pacific Northwest. I would like to invite you as a subscriber to come out, take a family vacation, take some R&R that's well deserved. I will host you for free. Now that's the type of stuff I'm trying to dream up, but I got 8 subscribers for God's sake. Now that's foreign to me because I am running another channel and have a lot more, but you know, it is what it is. It takes time. The YouTube algorithm's all messed up. So in any event, that's who I am. I served the United States military. I learned a lot along the way. So what did I learn? Well, I learned how to invest in assets. I learned how to build wealth. I learned a skill that I use still now today, which is IT related things. And I learned that I'm going to do this uncut no matter how raw it is. So if I mess it up, no edits, it is what it is. So that's me in a nutshell. I got a family. I love to travel. I love to earn money, and I like to mitigate risk. Now, I look at YouTube because in the earlier days, I wanted to see what other people were doing. Everybody's got their own little thing they're spinning. A lot of it's BS. I hate to tell you. If it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. If they're driving a Maserati and Mach 20 down the highway with the convertible off, they probably got it on Toro. If they're in a mansion and they're like under 30, they're probably running an Airbnb. I don't want to call it fact, but I like to weed out the BS from the ones that are actually teaching, not gambling, teaching. So that's what this channel is about. So today in this video, I'm only covering a couple things. I'm going to talk about a little news, and then I'm going to talk about a trade that concluded today that I started on Monday that I made some money. So what am I covering? Well, Bitcoin news specifically, because that's what this channel is about. Why? Because I have invested in stocks and real estate and bonds, precious metals. I've done tax sales. Hell, I've gone as far as I've tried it all. And for the investment of time, learning a new skill that most people could do, I've settled in on this. Now, everybody's in a different journey. They're in a different place in their life. And if there was one tip I could give everyone is seek a fiduciary financial advisor, one that has your best interest in heart, that can look at the total picture and come up with a tailored plan for you. It's kind of like dating. There's a lot of people that do it, and some are better than others. Some will help you figure out estate planning, taxes, how to avoid taxes legally, not illegally. They know these strategies. They know how to diversify you. They know how to protect wealth. And literally, that's the best advice I could give you. Now, I do not have a fiduciary financial advisor because I tried to do it myself over the last 30 years. And I've learned so many things over those years. And I feel at this point in my life, I can run circles around most of them. So it is what it is. But I can't give you financial advice because of that simple fact. I have not taken the time to get those certifications. And honestly, if I did, I could not generate the returns that I'm able to generate. All right, with that, let's cover some Bitcoin news because it has been my best performing asset to date. And I could say just simply buy it and forget about it, but there's more to it than that. That is the easiest way to do it. Dollar cost averaging, get a little here, get a little there, and just kind of forget about it. But the problem is if the story changes in the future, it could affect Bitcoin. And if you have everything in it, which no financial advisor would ever allow you to do, then you lose. And what does that look like? So I don't want that for you. So Bitcoin news. First up, let's talk about Tesla. They came out with quarterly earnings this week, and the reason I bring them up is they hold Bitcoin on the balance sheet. They bought it back in 2022. I've been following Elon's crazy for 15 years or so, and you either love him or hate him, but he bought crypto, specifically Bitcoin, and added it to their balance sheet, effectively making them a treasury company for Bitcoin treasury company. That's what they're calling it now. When you're a company, you buy it up, put it on your balance sheet. Well, he was under massive pressure because his mission statement is green and saving the environment and planet Earth. Well, Bitcoin harvests a lot of energy to exist, and it creates pollution if that energy is not renewable. For its solar, wind, etc., etc. So it's kind of no bueno. It's a conflict of interest with his company. So to make everybody happy, he sold 75% of that. Sorry to tell you, Elon, big mistake. Now, perception of the company, maybe it helped it, but as far as the bottom line, that lifeline could have saved you. Now, I shouldn't say save. That's not a good word. It could have helped the company now and allowed it to do bigger and better things. But it is what it is. Now, I also want to highlight in this article, and it's really to talk about ETFs, exchange traded funds, because they are buying up the supply of Bitcoin. They're eating it up. These are new products that got offered within the last 18 months or so that allow you to avoid the complexities of a crypto wallet and the seed code and everything else. They're the custodials of your Bitcoin, and then you can trade it like a stock. So there was outflows this week, 3 days in a row. It was pulled about 86 million out of the funds. For the week it was like 285 million. And Bitcoin is a supply and demand story. If people are selling, the price is going to go down. If everybody's buying, then it goes up. It's that simple. However, IBIT, they were killing it. They were still pulling money in. And that tells me there's a winner in the sea of these funds, because there's quite a few of them. It's IBIT. The volume is high. The fees are low. BlackRock's backing it. BlackRock's not going away anytime soon. In my mind, it's a trusted, great fund as long as the government doesn't change the laws in the future as far as funds like this. But right now, we're crypto pro-government. We got to ride the train while we can. So, IBIT buyers, they're traders, a lot of them. They buy in, they let it go up $2 or $3, they sell. How I'm doing that in a Roth retirement is completely tax-free, which is a beautiful thing, right? Love it, love it, love it to death. But again, a lot of what I'm showing is like active. And if you want the cruise control thing, there's sprinklings of that through these videos. Also, I try to tailor a strategy for everyone, or what I'm actually doing. So you got to learn from that over the time. But BlackRock's in funding. So why did crypto go down? Why did Bitcoin go down? In my opinion, we started, if you go back to my first video, at about the 105, 108 range. We grinded around there for a couple months, month and a half. And then we shot up pretty much instantly up to 123, backed off. And now we've been churning around between 116 and 121, I would say. And then I pull up to a friend's house. It was the one day I didn't do a video. The one day I didn't look at any of this. And he's like, crypto's crashing, Oh gosh. So I logged in. It was like at 115. Okay. It's lower than where it was yesterday, but it's way higher than when I started these videos. And that was only a few weeks ago. So whatever. That's what it does. It's exhausting the people that are using leverage, because the market makers know how to shake people out. They know they're highly leveraged and they know they're losing money. And that's the whole point. The market makers want to make money. And so this happens from time to time. It's a normal occurrence. This isn't an all-out crash. There needs to be a change in the story for an all-out crash. Now, I monitor that as well. I'm starting to see a couple things where I'm like, okay, noted. I want to see if that continues. One of them, whale selling, would be one. What's another potential risk? Artificial intelligence and these supercomputers that are potentially coming online in the future. What's another risk? Japan could be a risk. All the debt they issued, that could spiral something out of control. There's risk. No investment that I'm aware of. All of them have risk. All of them. So, but it's calculated risk. I have a lot of friends that are, I shouldn't say a lot, but a few, you invest in crypto, you're gambling. No, it's calculated risk. Right? And I can show you that in the returns over time. So let me go to the next story. Where is Bitcoin like right now as I'm filming this? 117,352. So we had the little tank when I talked to my buddy, and then it kind of hovered around, and then it started to look like it was recovering. Well, guess what? From earlier today all the way up, we're recovering. We've exhausted those short sellers for the time being. We'll see how it turns out. How did I personally play that? I sold a couple option puts against IBIT when it was near the lows because I believe in Bitcoin, and so I was willing to buy more if I needed to. That's how I played it. Next up in the Bitcoin news, this company, Ledn, launches Bitcoin private wealth program for its high net worth clients. Here's the deal. There are people that bought Bitcoin way back when. They're sitting on tons of money, high net worth clients, and they don't know how to leverage that money so that they can buy the things they want without selling it. And selling it in the United States creates taxes, and nobody likes those. So there's a way to avoid taxes, and high net worth people know this, but this company is going to help them with that. You got to have at least $250,000. I don't know the first thing about this company, so I don't know if to recommend it, but I'm just telling you what they're doing. If you're a high net worth person, you could carry it over to them, and they will help you harness the value of your underlying assets so that you can buy the things you want, whether you want a yacht, whether you want a new home, whether you want to take a crazy vacation. I don't know what that looks like for you, but that's what they're attempting to do. But the takeaway from this particular article is high net worth investors have fiduciary financial advisors, and they are steering them in the direction of this asset class. And that will create demand, which will reduce supply and cause prices to go up over time. Until that changes, I'm a buyer. Next up, Bitcoin prediction. This whale, a whale is essentially somebody that got in early and they're just sitting on just what I would consider stupid money. Bet $23.7 million that Bitcoin will rally between now and the end of the year. So as an options trader, this is how I would do that. I haven't accessed the full article. I really don't care. The idea is what they would do is buy a call, a lot of calls. And if they're right on the direction, they're essentially betting $23.7 million. That's why the chips are out on the table that we're going to rally. Well, here's the deal with calls. You can close that out on Monday. Let's say Bitcoin increased 8% in this weekend. On Monday, they could close this trade out and make a few $1 million easily. Maybe 5 million. I don't know what that looks like on a percentage basis. There's too many variables, but they could close this trade out on Monday. So I wouldn't take too much into this, but it shows the confidence of an individual that we're going up rather than down. Next up. Well, and we are. We just looked at the chart, right? We are trending up right now. So they've already made money depending on when they place this bet. Next up. OG Dan Morehead believes investors should look beyond Bitcoin. Well, yeah. Any fiduciary financial advisor is going to tell you need to be diversified. That's your best hedge against being stupid. Your ignorance will protect you if you diversify. Now, he talks about other crypto assets, Ethereum, and a few others. And here's what I'd say. Diversification is more than just crypto. It's other asset classes, and I talked about that earlier. So I won't torture the soul, but one of them I was looking at was, I think it was XRP. I kind of keep seeing that, and I was trying to compare it to Lightning, which is something underneath a layer of Bitcoin to allow Bitcoin, Ethereum, these different cryptos to have more purpose beyond just storage of value. And so, although this is a Bitcoin channel, I do look at other things and I do hold other things. So I occasionally sprinkle in that goodness, but Ethereum, I had some Cardano. That didn't pan out the way I'd hoped it would. Maybe some ADA, well, that is Cardano. Crypto.com, because I bank with them, I have a little in there. You know, I kind of spread it around amongst the crypto world, but will Bitcoin outperform all that stuff? Probably not. And the only reason I say that is we're starting kind of an altcoin season right now. There's another guy I follow that's been doing this a long, long time, and he's deeper into the altcoins than I am. But the altcoins are smaller, so they have a higher potential to do higher gains. That's basically the gist of it. I try to stay out of the hype and the FOMO and the GameStops of this world, because if you're at the last guy at the top, you're gonna lose and you're held with a bag. I think of Trump Media when that came out, that Trump coin. By the time you hear about it, it's probably too late. Next up is my spreadsheet. These are the trades that a couple trades I talked about on Monday. I'm only going to talk about the first one and then the yellow ones. The first one was a call. It's an option call that I sold on Monday. The trade only lasted to Friday. And I'm just going to kind of explain it again, but it's best to go back and look at that video. Essentially, I needed $13,266, and that is technically not true. You need 200 shares of IBIT, and when I did that video, that's how much IBIT would have cost you at the time. Now, I bought it at prices much lower than that, so I didn't actually need that. But as IBIT goes up, when I sell these, I make more and more, and it's just the way it works. So this trade was opened on Monday. It closed today. It's green because I was profitable. The ticker symbol was IBIT, which is an exchange-traded fund that tracks Bitcoin. I sold to open a call at $69 a share. It was 2 contracts, which obligated me to sell 200 shares at $69 a share. Let's take a look at where IBIT closed. Let's see, IBIT quote. And what you will find, it did not hit $69 a share. So what happens with this contract, or these 2 contracts, they go away. It's magic. I'm on no obligation to sell my IBIT anymore. I still own the shares. Life is good, and I made $80. Whoop-de-doo. I know what you're thinking. Let me pull up a calculator. This is an extremely small trade. I was using it as an example. And stick with me to the end, because I'm going to show you a larger one. Oh, come on, calculator. Show yourself. There we go. If I made the $80, I shouldn't say if, I did make the $80. $80.67. I could write a trade similar to like this because it's only 4 days. I could do it 91 times a year approximately, and I would make $7,340 annually if this worked out every time, which it won't, right? There'll be times where I'll have to sell my shares and there's other variables. But so that first example, if you were a newer trader with not a lot of money to invest with, could potentially make you $7,340 annually. Just that little piece. So now let's progress on. I have some open trades that have not expired yet, so I'm not going to talk about those, but let's focus on the yellow. These are new trades that I told you a couple video ago I wasn't going to do. I said I was done trading XYZ, which is Square. They renamed the company to Block. They are involved in crypto. That's why I am talking about them. And they were added earlier this week to the S&P 500. Go back and watch that video if you haven't seen it. For my rationale as to why I thought it would go up, and it did. And so these are what the trades look like. If I were to close out the ones that I opened earlier this week, I'd be up about $240 approximately, but I'm going to let them ride, try to make the full amount. But I'm in a situation, and this is a unicorn. I normally reinvest my proceeds, these option premiums that I get over and over and over. And that's how I'm able to do what I'm able to do now. It did not start that way. It was a grind because I was dialing in my strategy. So, but my daughter has a Nissan Leaf. It's a 2020, what is it? I don't know. It's old. It's like a first generation. It goes like 50 miles. It's over a decade old. And she's driving it, but she needs more than that right now. And I'm trying to help her out. She hasn't had her first job. It's that debate as a parent. Should you give your kids everything or should you let them earn it? But she's going to go off to college and it's my way to help her out right now. I'm going to buy her a car. Car, I'm guessing, is going to be about $25,000. This isn't her first car and she's proven herself as a driver. So I made over $30,000 today. So I hope you stuck with me with this video because I did it exactly what I'm going to show you in this yellow. What is in yellow? Well, I sold a put obligating me to buy 100 shares of XYZ. The strike price is, where is it? $78 a share. So that would be $7,800 to do that trade. I also obligated me to buy it at $74 a share. Of course, again, the expiration date, just like the trade up here, except instead of a call, it's a put. And if you forget all that, if you didn't see the earlier videos, if you're selling puts, you're obligating you to buy. Buy. Doesn't mean you have to, it just means it's an obligation. But again, I gave my bull case for this company and I don't think I'm going to have to buy any of it, to be quite honest. I'll just keep the funds. But again, the future is no guarantee. And then I sold 3 more at 76. That's what was required to back up that trade, and I sold 3 more. And again, the total amount I earned on these 4 trades was $2,522, but I do hundreds of trades a week. So when I say I made $30,000 today, I made $30,000 worth of option premiums obligating me to buy specific things that I believe in that I will talk about over time on this channel. And I have to wait through these contracts. But that money came in today. So there's 30 grand in there. I'm literally going to walk into a dealership, find what I want, write a check, and drive away. And I'll do a video in the future of what that looks like and how happy my daughter is. But again, I don't know if that's the right thing to do with your kids, but that's just what I'm doing. So anyway, crazy times. Bitcoin is a volatile asset. Again, find yourself a fiduciary financial advisor, but learn from my example trades, and these are real trades, because I think there'll be a light switch that clicks where you decide, I'm comfortable trying my first trade, like I'm saying right here, and time will show, because I'm going to highlight and read the successful ones, how this works out. And that's what I did. Before YouTube and all this, I had books. I was reading. I was learning this. I'm like, okay. And then finally I took action, set things up, and did my first trade. And then I did another. And then I did another. And then what I realized were I had too many contracts expiring at the same time. And then I thought, well, okay, how can I do that now? I can stagger them so I'm not obligated to buy it all at the same time. That was a change I made. Then I said, okay, well, now I'm going to diversify on what I'm actually trading into multiple asset classes that aren't in the same industry. And then that will help risk. What I'm talking about right now is risk mitigation. And so I dialed this in over, 16 years, and that's where I am right now. So when I say dollar amounts, it's not to brag. Everybody starts out with nothing. Right? You were born without clothes, and then you are clothed and you are educated, and it's up to you to take action. So I can't convince you to do that, but what I can do is convince you to like and subscribe so you can learn. So with that, thank you for your time.